Hello everybody, welcome back to my Let's Play of Jacksmith. Yesterday we didn't level up, but we did unlock the axe as well as unlock the cannon. So, let's see what else the game has to offer right now. Okay, so we're the last part of the World 1 actually, the lowlands. So, let's skip the cutscene. So, first we're making the axe. I did that in the wrong order, but whatever. So yesterday, when I was playing, I actually realized something about the game. Is that it reminded me of something I learned about in my C# programming class. I know most of you don't know much about programming or aren't even interested in it, but like it's still something I wanted to talk about. We were learning about various design patterns in the class, various design patterns for programming, 2-axis, and this reminded me of one of the more recent ones we saw. It was called the factory design pattern. It's basically a design pattern where I'm trying to explain this in simple terms, but basically it lets me create various objects, which objects in programming work similar to objects in real life. But it basically lets me create various coding objects without having to reuse what's known as the new keyword, which the new keyword we use whenever we want to instantiate or create a new object, but if we use it too much, the code can get very hard to read, even for professionals. It can become very hard to read, very hard to extend, which means it's not going to be easy to use in other systems if we want to add something else. So what we do is that the design pattern, what the factory design pattern does is that it has what's known as a factory class. It's not necessarily called the factory, but that's what the general name is, where it has the various methods for the objects. Ooh, that was bad. That was bad. And what it does is that it has the various methods for the objects, and then has other subclasses actually do the instantiation or creation of the objects for it. Ooh, we got an achievement, which makes creation of objects much more streamlined and much easier, which means that in the case that we needed to extend the system, we were able to do that without many issues. For example, let's say that the blacksmith I'm playing as is the factory. We have the customers asking me to make them a weapon. Then rather than having a class that directly creates the weapons, we have a factory that extends to the weapon subclass, and then that weapon has various subclasses of this, which such as the sword, the bow, the axe, and then those subclasses are what actually instantiate each weapon whenever I'm asked for one. And I'll probably put up like a diagram explaining what I'm trying to say, as well as some code I wrote based off an example I saw. It's actually a very interesting technique, very interesting design pattern. I've seen it explained with a lot of stuff. I've seen it explained with pizza, which is how my professor explained it to us. I saw it explained with a delivery service as well. Researching the topic, it's very fun. Anyways, we're at the battling phase now. And yeah, there's actually a lot of examples for this, and the enemies could also be a good example of this. Like this area calls various enemies. Yeah, we have the area which calls the enemies, or I guess the enemy factory, and then the enemy factory calls the various enemies to attack, which can include the spiders, the bees, maybe other enemies later on for different areas. And it's a great example of how code can become extendable, how useful these design patterns are when coding overall. And we're getting close to the end, and two of the warriors, okay, we lost to the bat, but is that a bat? I'm not sure, but that was great. And we got another achievement for getting to the next area, so that was great. Hey, and we leveled up too, that's great. Honestly, I think this is a pretty good place to stop. I know this was a short video, but it's a pick up and play game. We don't need to make this like 10 minutes long. So, anyways, thanks for watching and see you next time.